Hi, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Yondas, and today is Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. And I have a sneak peek for you of one of the new suites, couple bundles from that suite that I want to share with you today. And I'm gonna show you some easy framing techniques for card making. You know, Stampin' Up has come out recently with some more dies that can do some framing. We had the Scenic Frames, I think it was called, that came out back in, I'm thinking February or January. And we've had some others. Now, these bundles, or this bundle that I'm going to share with you, is actually one that does framing, and I'm going to show you a couple different things you can do with those frames. Hi, Diane, Linda, and everyone who's with me. Thank you for joining. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm really happy you found me. I hope you like what you see. And if you catch me on the replay or you're with me live, thank you for taking time out of your day to be with me. I have a lot to show you, so I'm going to flip this down to my desktop and we're going to get started. If you have questions along the way, put them in the comments. I promise to try to watch for that. Now, if you have the new annual catalog, this suite runs from page 52 to 57. And since I can't show you the new inside of the new catalog yet, I am going to show you the bundles. So the bundle that we're primarily using today and is the Gallery Blooms bundle. And again, I'm going to show you the other bundle because this can come as a suite or you can buy it separately. So this is a photopolymer stamp. There are no sentiments or greetings with it. And all of the images can be die cut. All the stamped images can be die cut. Now, there are how many? I think 13 dies in this bundle. And each of them cut out the stamped images, but then you have some detailed images that you can die cut from your cardstock. And the other thing that comes with this, which we're going to play with today, is this frame, and it's actually a double frame. And so we're going to be using that on the two cards. We're going to make two cards today. So let me move this out of the way, but we're going to keep this out. And then the other bundle that comes with this suite is called Beautiful Motifs. And this one has some background stamps for your layers, and here's where your greetings are for this for these bundles. Now this also has a die set, and these are all detailed dies, floral, leaves, and then you have these flourishes for like the corners or center of your card. We are not using these today. I am using one of the sentiments from here, but we'll play with this more coming up. I am using the new embossing folder. This is a Damask Designs. Hopefully you can see this. It's got like little flourishes along, or a damask design. Really pretty. I'm going to show you something I did a little bit different with this. And the paper I'm using is called Beautiful Gallery. It is 6x6 paper. You get 12 different patterns, and they're double-sided, and you get 48 sheets. But I just want to show you the beauty of these papers. They're very scenic, a lot of flowers, some really old-fashioned sketching. This one is floral. You have a pattern, a damask pattern here. We're going to be using these two papers today separately for different cards. Let me show you these. Another scene upside down, a bit of a countryside. tree. Almost looks like a willow or a weeping willow. You've got these roses with the two new colors, Secret Sea, and it'll come to me. You have some water, uh, harbor, and some more roses and a cottage. Just really gorgeous papers. So let me flip these over really quick. And you can see you have some ombre colors. You have a damask. You have some tapestry, wood grain. I guess like a map. Some watercolor. Look at the beautiful floral. So just really beautiful papers. So let's get started and on our first card. Now, before we start the card, I want to show you about this die. To cut this out, it takes a 3 3/4 inch piece of cardstock by 5.5. This is big die. So when you cut it out, it's going to come out like this. So you have layers, and I've actually held it together here to show you. So if you take off, you have a large layer or a large frame, a smaller frame, and then you have your center. So it serves lots of purposes. So today we're going to be using frames, both sizes, and the center. So our first card, I'm going to bring everything in. And what I love about it is you have enough to make 2 cards with these. So I'm going to start off with a piece of Lost Lagoon. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and line this up and then just give it a good burnish. Now, for my background, I am using the new Secret Sea, and I'm using a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5, so a little smaller than I would normally use. And I'm going to use this for a layer. But I'm also going to take one of those pieces of designer series paper, and this was 1 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to put it over here to the side of Secret Sea. So let's go ahead and add that. Hi, Denise. Hi, Flo. Thanks for joining. So we're just going to add this here. And I am going to leave just a little bit of an edge. And over to the side, this is going to go top to bottom because it's cut the same height as the Secret Sea, but just leave a little bit of an edge over here. Okay, and let's go ahead and add that to our card base. I think these colors are beautiful together, and I did take them from the designer series paper. This designer series paper, you have Secret Sea, which is one of the new in colors coming out. You have Lost Lagoon, you have Peach Pie, and you have Calypso Coral. So really gorgeous colors together. Now for this card, I'm going to use the smaller of the 2 frames. So I want to show you what I did. I'm going to tell you what I did. And then next week, I'm actually going to be doing a video on 3 ways of how you can use your embossing folders. So I first cut my frames, and then I took my embossing folder and I used a brayer, and I used the Secret Sea ink, and I brayered my the upper part that you can feel. You have a debossed side and an embossed side. The part you can feel that's raised up, I brayered with Secret Sea. And then I lined it up. I'm going to show you over on this side with the line on the front. And then I closed it and ran it through my cut and emboss machine. Now, the difference with this way that I did it is I'm using the debossed side, and the ink is actually pressed into the paper. The other side is my embossed side, but I wanted the ink as part of the flourishes or damask design. So we're going to use this, and we're going to layer this here once we get our center done. So I have the center piece from our center. That was a sample. So we're going to bring this in, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp just a note, and that is from the Beautiful Motifs. Now I'm going to stamp it with my Secret C. I want to go with that color. My hands are blue, if you're wondering. I have been stamping for 2 days and using Secret C. So believe me, I have washed and scrubbed, and I'm guessing it's going to take another day to come off. But that's okay. So I want to stamp this just down here at the bottom. So I'm going to come in here, and I'll take that. Now, I did use some of the stamps from this, and I did go ahead and color these ahead of time because I wanted to be able to show you a couple different ways to use the frames and make 2 cards. So I used this stamp here that mimics some of the florals in my paper, and this little one here. And I colored them using Lost Lagoon, Calypso Coral, and Peach Pie. So I'm going to kind of bring that up, and hopefully you can see it. And I'm going to just pop that on right here. So I'm going to use some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And while I'm putting this on, I have a question for you. I hope you'll take a minute to answer. I would love to know if there's any specific topics or techniques or stamp sets you would like me to cover in the future. Oh, thanks, Flo. I'm glad you like it. So if you do, drop it in the comments section, because I do these really because I love sharing with all of you. But I also like to be able to cover some of the stuff that those that watch would really be interested in. So if there is something, please take a moment and drop it in the comments. Okay, so let's put this, I'm going to put this on a little bit of a slant right here. All right, now we're ready to build this in. So I'm going to take my large Stampin' Dimensionals here, and I'm going to use those around the frame. And I've gone ahead and I actually cut mine in half. I'm kind of frugal when it comes to these. And I use a lot, so I find it kind of helps me make them go a little bit further. So we're just going to add these. Oops. And put some along here. We're also going to use the dimensionals on this, and you're going to see it drops right in quite easily. But I love that you can do some different things with these frames rather than use them just plain, although they're gorgeous just plain also. So let's go ahead and we're going to put this on. I hope you had a good weekend. It sure went by quick. And I'm in Northeast Ohio. We had some beautiful weather over the weekend. It's made up for it today, though. We are in the 40s, low 40s, and feels like it's about 38 out. And we have gale wind warnings. So I'm holding my breath that cable stays on. All right, so I want this to go like this because of my design. And I'm just going to go ahead over, and I want it a little bit to the left so that we see more of the paper. And that looks pretty good. Now, this is going to fit right inside, and you could just drop it in there and glue it down. But I don't want to see any outline of that paper. So I'm going to go ahead and use my dimensionals, and we're going to pop it in that way. Now you could join these together before you put it on the card and actually adhere them together with a little bit of Scotch tape on the back. That would work too. And then just put dimensionals on them all at once. So another way to do it. Hi, Victoria. Thanks for joining. You'd like to see me use the roses from Gallery of Blooms. Okay. Thank you, Flo. Thank you very much for that. I can do that. So let's go ahead and we're going to pop this one in. Now, I'm going to, I already put the greeting on. So I'm not going to put a sentiment on the inside. For those of you that watch me often, you know, most times I don't do that. I wait till I'm ready to send the card. And then I will add my sentiment on the inside right before I send it. So you can see this lines up beautifully, pops right in, and then you just give it a little bit of a press with your dimensionals, and that's ready to go almost. Now for the inside, I decided to do a layer of Secret Sea. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I did a 3 3/4 by 5 of the basic white. And remember I said I did one of these little floral images and I die cut it. And I'm just going to add it right here, oops, to the corner of our layer. And we're ready to put this on the inside. Now stay with me because we have another frame to do. And I think you're going to enjoy this one because it's a little bit different. And we're going to go ahead and add this right here. Now to decorate or embellish the outside of this, I thought it'd be fun to use, if I find them, they're here right in front of me. Some of the 2024, 2026, I still had some of these shimmer gems left. And I thought the peach pie would look really pretty here. So I'm going to take the little ones and I'm just going to put 3 right in a row on this note, just under the greeting. I'm sorry, the note. And there's our first card. So isn't that pretty though? I love that you can do a different type of frame using the embossing folder and some ink. And like I said, next Tuesday, I'm going to be doing some of that. Now our second card that I'm going to bring in, I'm using Mossy Meadow. And this one is a 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Now, I will have a tutorial for these. These aren't available to May though, but the tutorial will go up today's Tuesday, Thursday, because I have an in-home card class tomorrow. So I'm not going to say I'll get them up and then not get them up. So this time I used gold foil. Isn't that beautiful? And we are going to use the large frame this time. But I went ahead and embossed it with that embossing folder. And look how antiqued that looks. It just reminds me of something that maybe my grandma would have had when I was younger. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this. So when you're embossing something that you're die cutting, like a frame, I always cut first, die cut first, and then emboss. Because if you emboss and then run it through your cut and emboss machine, you're going to flatten out your embossed layer. So here is a layer of basic beige, because that's what's in the paper we're using. And this is embossed with that damask embossing folder. This is 4 by 5 1/4. So just a little bit bigger than the last layer for the last card. And make sure I have this open right. Yep. And I got to tell you, when I was playing with this yesterday, because it had just come on Saturday, I did a card and didn't check which way it opened. And I did it, put my layer on upside down. So then I just cut it off at the top and added it to another layer of mossy meadow. So, all right. Now, when I cut these out, remember I said it's 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I saved this, and you'll see how we're going to use this. Hi, Victoria. All right. So we are going to take this. This is the piece we're going to use. And this is from the papers. And I'll show you a different one when we're done. And I want to add that to the frame. Now, I want to keep the writing because it reminds me of a painting that like an artist might have signed. I don't like to use glue around foil because if it gets on, it kind of mars it. So what I'm going to do is position my designer series paper the way I want it. And whoops, that's a little crooked. I don't want it like that. There we go. And I'm just going to turn it over gently. And I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape that I have sitting here. And I'm going to adhere this using the Scotch tape to one another. So let's make sure it stayed straight. It did. And I'm just going to add, now this is going to get added to the card front using Stampin' Dimensionals, which will also help to hold it on. But I just want to make sure that this adheres well. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so this is a super easy card. So you now have this beautiful frame, and we're going to add it to the front of our card. Now, one of the things with this is a large frame. It would go beautifully on a card like this, but you can see it would take up, it almost goes from end to end. So I decided to use it. I didn't get that tape too well down here. I decided to use it long ways. And I'm just going to add it over to the side, all the way over, to have this edge of embossing. Now, a couple things you could do rather than waste this whole edge, a whole sheet of embossed cardstock, you could cut this off at 1 inch, which is what I meant to do, but I was so busy talking, I didn't, and just pop it in underneath on that little edge. And then you still have, you've not wasted much paper. But I'm going to go ahead and add this right even with that basic beige. And we're going to add this to our card front. So let me grab my dimensionals here. And I have edges left that I'm just going to go ahead and add. Now you can see I'm putting it in over top of the paper, and it allows me then to double secure that designer series paper to the embossed foil. So let's add this here. So okay, you like that rose image, Flo? They're beautiful. They are absolutely gorgeous. When you get your catalog, if you haven't already gotten it, and they should be going out about now, for those of you that are demonstrators, you already have it. This suite, when you look at it in the Stampin' Up catalog, they've done a lot of home decor using these frames and this paper. And I may even try to do something like that and show it in a future video. It's just so beautiful, the whole suite. So let's add this. We're almost done here. We'll get this added. And then I have a third card to show you that I made ahead of time. All right, let's go ahead and add this. All right, so here's this, and I think we're ready to add it. Then I should pop a few in the center here, and we'll do that. I have these all over the house. And they're always in places you don't expect them to be. I don't know about all of you, but they kind of seem to get everywhere. All right, so I'm going to add just a couple here in the center, just to hold that up for mailing. And then we're ready to add it. Now, this card, when I decided to make it, I thought it made a beautiful wedding card or sympathy card. It just struck me as being really beautiful for one of those. Okay, now for a greeting, you can add a little greeting in here. I'm not going to because I'm not sure how I'm going to use it yet. But I want to show you what I did with the inside of this. I embossed a little strip of that basic beige, and then I cut an 1/8 inch strip of old olive, and I glued both of them on the edge of this basic beige layer for the inside of the card. But I'm going to show you what I did with the third card with this leftover gold. I did something very similar. So now to decorate this one, I'm going to use, these are called the pressed flower motifs. Mine came actually delivered like this. If you get something like this delivered to you, call Stampin' Up's customer service. They're wonderful. They'll help you with it. But they still work, but I was actually told that they're getting a lot of calls that these are kind of coming through like this. So I'm going to put one there, one here, and let's go with a bigger one right down here. Okay. So here's our second card. Now I want to show you the third one. This one I made using the smaller frame, which I, in fact, like better. But I didn't emboss it, and I still use the roses. But look how pretty that is. Now, one of the things I did not add a greeting because, again, I thought this would be great for a wedding or for sympathy. But I did go ahead and stamp from the simple, I think it simply said, it's on the last chance list, congratulations, just to show you what it would look like if you added it at the bottom. What I would prefer is to find a smaller sentiment that said congratulations and maybe add it over here or just along here. Now on the inside, remember, where did it go? Well, I guess I didn't do it, but on the inside, let's go back to this card. You could use these and trim them and use them to lay that along your embossed edge. So you wouldn't have to use the mossy meadow. These are the perfect 1/8 of an inch to cut and then add those where you're kind of repurposing them and not really wasting any of that gold foil. So here's the cards. Let me bring you back to me. Let's see, Flo, you lay packing tape over the top of the dimensionals. Oh, that's a good idea. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining. This, I'm using 2 bundles, Gallery of Blooms and Beautiful Motifs. And I have to open the catalog without you seeing to tell you which suite this is. The Beautiful Gallery suite. Let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek of the Beautiful Gallery. I think the papers are outstanding, and I love the colors, and those frames are great. So if you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It helps me grow my channel. Feel free to share the video. I will have a link by Thursday morning right down below in the video description. Would take you over to my website and you can download the tutorials. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next Tuesday for some techniques, at least 3 on using with your embossing folders. Bye, everybody.